from Stampin'Up. Welcome back to another craft making session with me, card making session with me. Today I want to feature the beautiful Paper Florist dies, and this little gift box is actually going to be one of three that at the time I'm recording this is going to be a thank you gift for 3 ladies that are coming on my retreat this weekend. So I always record my videos a week in advance. I'm just going to open this carefully, and hopefully in there, I'm not sure if you can even pick that up, but I've actually stamped the background with artistically inked in Bubble Bath, and then that is in, I think it might be Berry Burst. I think Melon Mango, not sure, I can't remember now, but we're not featuring that. We're not focusing on that. I want to focus on how the heck we work with the Paper Florist dies. So let me show you where you find them to start off with. So let me just close my screen a bit. This is not, I make my screen a bit bigger so that you can all get to see. Now it's not smaller. Now it's not doing it. So let me move my paper like that. So it is on page 165 of the catalog, and it's called the Paper Florist, and N stands for new. And as you can see, you can use it on the mini, which I'm going to do today just because I'm busy packing for my retreat and I don't want to haul out my big cut and emboss machines that I'm packing in. There are heaps of dies. Some of them I was like, what do we use those for? So I'm going to run through the dies with you, show you just a few on how to work with them, because I was so confused. I honestly was like, what do I do with this? So I've labeled it Paper Florist Dies, code 161284. I love 3D paper craft, boxes, bags, flowers, you name it. So this was high on my list. So this is what they look like. Let me just back that down. And let me just quickly move this to the side. So what I love about this die is that the flowers actually are one. So you've got a big one and a little one that immediately tells you how to work with them. These are 4, and it cuts 4 individual flowers instead of having to cut through 4 flowers, if I'm making sense, like one die 4 times. This is also 4, and you can see you're going to build those up. We're going to talk about this one. I'm going to show you how we use that. I'm also going to talk and demonstrate how to use this one, because this is the one that really had me going. Leaves are self-explanatory. This is the bottom of that, which is the tulip, which is over here. And what I did there for the tulip was I actually die cut Melon Mango cardstock. I just want to, hopefully that's going on the cam. But the green, in fact, what I did was I cut every single thing, excepting the Melon Mango there and the Melon Mango there. Every single flower and leaf I actually cut from basic white, and I used my blending brushes and ink to get the image I wanted. I found that was easier. Easier because it was one lot of cardstock. I wasn't fiddly bitsing. Exception, sorry, there are 2 exceptions. The inner, I used lemon lolly for that, and the same lemon lolly for that. Everything else, I used my blending brushes, and I will show you how I created this. I wanted this to be like an orchid, so I'll just go through those, but I'm going to demonstrate this one for you. I thought this is going to be the one that a lot of people are not going to really understand how to do. These bits over here, as you can see, this is a big, like it's got texture. That one's plain, and the same over there, and I used them in the centers of my flowers over here. Okay, now the ones, these little guys, there are 2 of them. They create those insides. Where is my camera? They create this white over here is this die over here. And what I did was you can't really see it, but I had actually lifted them for a little bit of 3D effect, which is pretty cool. But the big ones which I was stumped on was, what do we do with this? How do I work with that? And how do I fold these? So that is what I want to focus on in today's video tutorial for you. These are the colors that I chose. If you know me well, I love pinks and purples. I've not really been a fan of shaded spruce, so I made myself use it, and I must confess, it actually looks gorgeous there. So that shaded spruce, and this one was Lost Lagoon. Okay, and there's a little flower there, also cut in melon mambo. So lettuce, I want to show you how I create these different looks. These boxes are they are retired, but you can get other boxes in the current catalog. So for this, I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to use some scrap. You're going to need plate 1, plate 2, and for this video I want to demonstrate, let's do this flower. So we're going to cut this one out, and as you can see, it's pretty straightforward really. So we'll just cut this through. Sorry, moving camera. Okay, I just want to get all my cutting done first, and then we can move to the fun bits. So you can see this cuts in 3 sections, and I also want to demonstrate how I got that orchid look. So I'll just stick this back, and let's put that back. And my orchid look, I'm using this die for the orchid, for my orchid look. Just move that in the camera so that you can see properly. Remember, when you're using the mini, I don't use my mini that much, but you do want to make sure your plates are not directly on top of each other, because they need to grip. So a fellow demonstrator colleague of mine said an E shape is the best way to think of it, and I think that's quite clever. All right, so we've got my orchid look over here, and then the last thing I want to show you is what the heck do we do with that. But we also will need to cut out of the white. I forgot about that one, so we'll just cut that one quickly. So back in with the white. I honestly find cutting the whole lot in white, coloring them as you want to, much more economical. Just a heads up, if you buy this set and you use it in projects like that one, it is relatively time consuming as papercraft goes, so just bear that in mind. This is going to be a project that you need to make sure that you have enough time allocated. Okay, now we just need to do the yellow. I just want to do the yellow in some lemon lolly scrap, and I'm just going to pop this die on there. Now you may find, and I am just going to say this, we have noticed a tremendous amount of Temu counterfeits. Temu is launched here in New Zealand recently. A customer of mine has been sending me these links of all these dud imitations of Stampin'Up stamps and dies, and I just want to encourage you, if you do see imitations like that, please notify Stampin'Up directly. I do believe the email address is infringements@stampin'up.com, and just let them know about that, because it takes the integrity away of the business. It makes it that those of us that are independent Stampin'Up demonstrators that do this as part of our business, it just destroys the whole integrity of the products that we are so enthusiastic about. Okay, I just want to grab some scrap. I realized I hadn't put it near me, so let me just get that. And I want to show you how we're going to recreate this flower. I'm going to use my purple blending brush. So I have a blending brush for every color group that I work with, and I found that easier than giving each color a blending brush of its own. Otherwise I'd have to have 50 and then change 5 of them every year. Just seeing I've got a blob of glue stuck on that. I wondered why it wasn't flat. Okay, let's have some fun. So for these flowers I used fresh freesia. So you just open up your ink pad as normal and you just lift up your ink, tap off a little bit, and I literally just held it in the corner, and you're going to apply as little or as much color as you'd like. Just remember, in nature you've mostly got a variation of colors, so you're not after perfection in the slightest. That is it. Okay, and while we've got the purple brush out, I'm just going to set these to the side, and I'm going to bring my orchid, well, they're not orchids, but I wanted to make them orchids because I adore orchids, and for that I used Gorgeous Grape. So just tap off the excess, pick up your Gorgeous Grape, and watch this. Hold it. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm not blending, I'm tapping. That's what I'm doing. There you go. Ta-da! Orchids. And you just let it go. It took me, what, 2 seconds? I've probably got a little bit more ink on these guys than what I had on those, and that's fine. The other colors, if you're interested, I used Balmy Blue for the blue flowers. I've already mentioned Shaded Spruce, and for the yellow daisies I used my Daffodil Delight. Now you might be wondering, what is this circle about? And that is the aha. So before we do that though, I do want to just get, my silicone sheet. These blimmin' notches. Do you know what I first did? My very, very first flower. I don't even have the sample here. I went like this and I was like, no, that's no good. Then I thought, oh, maybe they go like that. That's no good. And then I saw, oh my word, I wish I'd written her name down, a demonstrator in the States. And it was the only video that actually showed how to do this properly. So what you do is you're just going to move these a little bit. And we're going to place a teeny tiny, I think her name was, oh flip, I should have written her name down, and I do apologize that I didn't, because the credit goes to her. I should have done that, but hang on, let me just get my glue. Glue, come on. Right, they're not doing their job, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap out and get my fine tip glue. Fine tip glue doesn't glue as quickly, but I do want to just get this done for you. So a little bit of glue, and then you're going to bend it, see there, and you're just going to hold it like that, all right, for a few seconds. Bear in mind your fine tip glue doesn't dry as quickly as your Tombow, but that's okay, we'll make this work. A little bit of glue, bend it, hold it just for a few seconds, wiggle, glue, bend it. Okay, right, now I have a Cricut machine and I do a lot of paper with paper flowers with my Cricut, And when I saw this, my brain didn't register initially that that's what it was for. And then I realized afterwards, but of course, when we do paper flowers, you need something to put them on, right? And the more flowers, like this one I did 6, but I just want to demonstrate for the purpose of this video so that you can use these dies and not stare at them and go, what on earth do I do with this? So a little bit of glue. This is where your silicone mat is really, really important. Just hold it down with your finger. A little bit of glue. When you're placing flowers, again, we're working in odd numbers. 3s. Did I do that? Yeah, I think I did actually. Oops. And then I'm just going to do, I probably need to have made another 1 or 2 of them. That's all right. Just bear in mind this, yep, I'm just going to stick it in there so that it's covered. And then while I'm holding that, I'm going to just gently, you could, before you glue them, just fold them over with your bone folder. I'm just using my fingers for a more organic look. Probably would be good to have one added in there, all right? But like I said, I don't want to make this, the video I watched of that demonstrator was like over an hour, and I don't want to do that to you guys. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. Now this guy. This makes the center. And for that, you want to use a tool. So you've got the bits facing you. Now, we're going to catch it. Okay. Like so. Can you see there? And if you, I like bringing it to me. I don't know. I always do things backwards. I'm sure my mom's watching this video. She usually does. And she'll be able to tell you that. And she was teaching me to sew. I always did things back to front. So if I'm doing this opposite to what you think it should be done, blame it on me being weird, okay? Now, glue dot. I initially used my glue, but I got too impatient. It took too long. And sometimes I have patience and sometimes I don't. So that's going to go like so. Give it a squeeze, get it nice and circular. And then I actually put 2 glue dots, because these guys are really strong. You know, they're so little but so mighty. Just pop them where you want to place this guy and stick it on there. Stick it on there. Just give it some oomph. And now with your fingers, you just bring it out. Isn't that incredible? Like, oh my gosh. And I just find if I really squash it, then it starts looking very realistic. It's like magic. Okay, so that's the first one. And then I've already demonstrated this little guy to you, so let me just move that out the way and bring in my mat again. And he just got a little bit of glue like that. And I sort of brought it off, but not off. And I don't think there's a right and a wrong way. If there is, and you are a flower fundi, I'm sorry. I really am. I didn't. Yeah, I'm just doing my thing here. Artistic license. Okay. Loosen these petals as you wish. Bring them up. Leave them down. You create your own floral arrangement here. You do your thing. So I just wanted to show you. That's the technique I used to get my orchid look. That's how you work with these guys. So obviously in here you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I die cut this die twice, and I think it looks better. I softly used my balmy blue there. I used, I believe it was Parakeet Party here, actually. I didn't take that out. But like I said, the rest was that other color. What is it called? Shaded Spruce. Yeah, Shaded Spruce and a bit of, no, it was Shaded Spruce. All right. Guys, go have fun. Make beautiful flower arrangements. You can make cards. You can do all kinds of things with the Paper Florist dies. Let your imagination go wild, and I hope I've answered some of the questions around some of these really unusual bits in the dies. And I would absolutely love to see what you are making with this die set. And it's a standalone, so it's it doesn't have a stamp set to go with it. In this one, I should have put some DSP behind it to anchor it. I only realized that afterwards. I wondered what was wrong with it, in my opinion, wrong with it. My husband tells me I'm too much of a perfectionist. But yeah, so if you want to anchor it, maybe pop some a neutral designer series paper. Okay, thanks for crafting with me. Have fun, be inspired, and I'll catch you next week. And remember, until we meet again, to stamp, eat, sleep, repeat.